Well, hello. Happy Halloween, sir.
Oh, I was waiting for you to do your annual cackle. That's why I thought that because and I'd have to drop it into the pod like I did last year. That's what I was
No,
waiting
I'm
for. Yeah.
still I'm still advocating for sound effects. I'm not gonna
I
give them
did
to
sound effects last year. I did sound effects last year. And this year I'm actually doing loads. You haven't got a clue the sound effects that are happening on this pod.
Okay, okay. All right. Well, I'm excited. I mean, I know Halloween's not for a few days. I'm excited that it's on a Friday this year. So it's gonna be extra good. But
Happy Halloween, happy Halloween. I can't believe it's the third this is the third installment of Halloween horror stories.
I know. I love doing the graphics though. They're so fun. And it's funny. Yes, I mean, we've done over 150 episodes, three Halloween horror stories. And the sad thing is, I think they're only getting worse.
Yeah.
Not our,
Yeah.
not our, not our performance, but
I
the
was going to say,
stories
and
that
all
we
those
have to tell.
episodes, and each episode just gets worse. The horror story that we want to talk about is this podcast.
Is this podcast? No, but I was looking back at just some of our recent stuff. I mean, boardroom bullies and
Mm-hmm.
some of the things that we've been talking about, the death of Dews. I mean, it's been kind of a dark year.
Yeah. Well, yes, it has, hasn't it? It has, and it
It's
doesn't
a
look.
difficult year.
It's a difficult year, one of many, and I suspect the forerunner to another one. Uh, but
Yeah.
it's interesting when we reflect about all of the issues that we talk about, and we want to highlight in a Halloween horror special, as is always the case, everything comes down to behavior.
Yes, humans, it's why I refer to association work as an art and a science.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing can be perfectly scripted. There's no equation for this. And it's usually where the humans disappoint more than
Mm.
anything else and shock and embarrass and I would say defile the mission statement at every opportunity that we continue our illustrious work as consultants to try to bring light and help those lost in this storm.
Indeed we do. Indeed we do. We shine light upon the Frankenstein operating theatre that is uh it's the association boardroom and the
Oh, yes.
the membership environment. So come on, throw some
Yeah.
horror stories at me.
All right.
Everyone
So
wants to,
some horror stories,
yeah,
some
throw
horror
some.
stories. I've been working with a couple different organizations where, I get some one-on-one time with the staff, both middle management and executive staff, and some of the stories again about how they're being treated by board members, by volunteers. One was asked to babysit the board members' kids so
What?
they could attend the meeting. Yeah. I've heard of board members kind of taunting each other behind the scenes, or bullying against the executive during compensation review. It's been I don't know. I mean, the world is crazy and it seems to be percolating even more so here. I specifically wanted to talk about the nightmare that is participation. And
Or
this
lack
year more
thereof.
or lack thereof. I mean, between surveys and focus groups and interviews and conventions and webinars and all the things that we ask of the members, only so we can deliver value, only
Yeah.
so we can ask them what they need, and they're not
Mm-hmm.
showing up.
Mm-hmm.
And this decline is not new. We've talked about this for many, many years, but the decline has been most painful this year. And I mean, I know here in DC, federal workers aren't getting paid. The
Yeah.
world is crazy. It's not, it's hard to even ask and expect them to say yes, but I can't even get over 5% survey rate returns anymore. It's hard to even get the board members to attend board meetings when things are disrupted and challenging. This isn't a call to action for them. They disappear.
Yeah, no, and I think it's really interesting that you bring this up because I have two clients this year for whom recent clients for whom engaging members, as you say, to enhance the value proposition is nigh on impossible. And it's deeply frustrating when you're a
Yeah.
staffer, when you're a volunteer, and you think, come on, as you say, this is all just about making it better for you. But you get a
Oh yeah.
sense that what has been trickling down into our industry, into our sector for such a long time, the external pressures and economics and politics that are impacting business, um, profit and for non-profit business, worldwide, has kind of turned into a flood this year. And I think there's a risk that associations are potentially, and it's just a potential. It's just an itch I've got. It's not a theory, but there's a that almost the associations are being seen as a triviality, as
Well,
a
I mean,
nice to
where
have.
if their relevance only comes out when you engage with them,
Mm,
and you're doing fine in your industry or your business or whatever without engaging, then that
mm,
return on investment, that value proposition is pretty hard to sell. And I
yeah.
know when coming from, government affairs and the political advocacy side, you can't sell that. You can't make that the lead in your value proposition because the free riders are going to benefit from it anyway. So that is the most horrific, nightmarish, sales pitch is trying to sell government affairs and political advocacy because whether you're a member or not, you're going to enjoy the fruits of that labor.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if we can't get people to show up or read what we're putting out, or no matter what format or channel we're putting it out in, we can't get people to consume what we say is our value, what we say is our expertise, what we say is our vitality and what makes us necessary, then we're obviously not necessary because they're
Well, I mean
still doing fine.
that's the brutally honest truth of the matter, isn't it? And again, quite a few chief execs I've spoken to this year have kind of have that kind of sense of resignation to that actual fact. We maybe aren't relevant anymore. We maybe aren't necessary, and I fear, however, that the knee jerk response is to layer on more and more and more, to diversify more and more and
No,
more.
no,
And
no.
really, it should be this rapidly, or this rapid decline in engagement. Actually, it's not rapid. It's
No,
been a
this has
long-term
been,
drip, drip,
yeah,
drip. But now
this
it's
has been a
becoming
ship that has
more of
been
a flow
sinking
now.
for 40 years. Yeah.
I think now is the time for us to be really, really talking about rationalizing and really focusing on, again, and we say this all the time, when we strategic plan with organizations, I don't care if it's just one thing that you do that only you do and nobody else can do it. And my God, it's the one thing that you are brilliant at.
Yeah.
Then
And it's
do
why
then be that. Be that.
yeah, this year I've had the opportunity to work with more and more health and science organizations.
Oh,
And
interesting. Speaking of horror stories.
when I see the power of certifications and credentials, especially in some of these
Yeah. Yeah.
specialized professions, whether it's that or in other industries, and it's certain documents or forms that you get access to. I mean, you need those. I don't know that it's golden handcuffs as much as like a license would be, but you need that, to your point, that one thing where you're the only go-to for it. And I hope your revenue demonstrates it, but isn't fully dependent on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. But then if
but
it but that's okay if you are wholly dependent on it, but it's the one thing that everybody needs you for, then
yeah,
this whole question about income diversification becomes irrelevant, because
right.
I don't care if 100% your income comes from this amazing pair of golden handcuffs, but that's why you exist. I mean, that's fine, you
But
know?
that's the zombie Frankenstein fear of being
Yeah.
disrupted by a competitor. You
Yeah.
think you're the
Yeah.
only game in town. You think you're the only one capable of doing this until someone else does it.
Yes, absolutely. And I think
So,
in a world that is
in a world,
noisy, in a
in
world
a
that
world,
is
use
doomed.
your movie trailer voice.
No, no, no. Well, my four weddings and a funeral voice. Uh, but in a world that is just so noisy, I mean, it's just
Exactly.
incessantly noisy. Everything is just noise. We talk all the time on the pod about all types of disruption, all types of noise, all types of the flow of information, the unrelenting flow of information, the unrelenting change in technology and engagement methods and information and just stuff all the time. Members, I think, are wanting to see their associations, their membership bodies respond to those circumstances. Because I, as a member, am looking to enhance my career opportunities, my personal, professional development. I need to stand out from the crowd because the crowd is enormous and the crowd is really, really noisy, and nobody can hear my voice in this hell chamber of chaos. So what is it that my association is going to give me that elevates me above everybody else? And that's the question I think boards this year have been afraid to ask because they don't like or they're afraid of what the answer is going to be, which is,
Well, the
quite
answer is
frankly, for a
hard. The
lot of
answer is
you,
going to be hard.
nothing. Right now, I'm not getting anything. Yeah, exactly. They don't want to hear
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's a scary response.
Well, and to this larger point of the human work ethic, I just read an article about the 996 work week. You will hate it. It's
Huh.
9 to 9, 6 days a week. And what I
And
don't understand as
this is obviously based upon US employment legislation
this
and
is
lack
like
thereof. And
tech startup kind of culture,
yeah, yeah,
especially in the
9 days
AI
a week.
space. But I still don't understand as a human civilization with all that we're now, all the benefits we now enjoy, whether it be electricity or technology or vehicles or all the things, associations, resources, libraries, all the things. Why are we still working so hard? Why are we spending more and more and more time working? Why isn't this getting better? Why isn't the noise lessening? Why isn't our email boxes cleaner? Why? I just don't understand why it's going in the wrong direction.
Well, is it not simply, if I say simply, is it not simply the case that there are simply more and more and more people entering the workforce, fewer and fewer people leaving the workforce? So everybody, members, are constantly finding themselves in more highly competitive environments. Um, So therefore, we use the tools not to be efficient. We use the tools just to be able to do more and more work. You're right. Actually, AI. They took, but your favorite horror story, your favorite horror film. AI actually. You know, I thought it was a case of, well, start using that, and you basically be able to put your feet up and have a cup of tea for 6 hours a day, and it'll just do the job for you. But no, in fact, it frees up my time to do more work in what is an increasingly competitive environment, and we see it as consultants in this sector. We recognize our number has grown, I've noticed, in the last 12 months, and it's not going to diminish anytime soon. So I
No,
understand it
no.
completely. I understand it completely why people are feeling the pressure all the time. What I don't, therefore, appreciate is why then boards and C-suite turn their back on this problem and fail to address it, because for me, that's your fundamental responsibility.
Right. So, two questions. If the whole point of this is competitive advantage, what you just described in a world with more and more trying to stand out, have a
Yeah.
voice, be heard, be
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
successful, if the whole point is competitive advantage, then why isn't that the association's niche? And to your question about the board and why are they not capable of this, I wonder if it's the temporary nature of their roles. They've spent more time rising to these positions, fighting for them, trying to get ahead and make themselves known. The time they actually serve, I feel like most board members are just trying to survive it, not make mistakes, have as few fires to put out as possible, and rotate off.
Well, I think that's particularly true and salient in a US context, where you do have where there are far more.
Look, you
It's a
guys have
far,
your problems too. You
no, no,
guys
no,
have
no,
your
but
problems too.
no, but oh no, there are many, very many, and I have a long list of horror stories with huge, big financial and personal costs attached to them. But they're
This
not
is
they're
not
not all
true.
mine. They're not all mine. but I think, yeah, the model of a year on as president elect, a year on as president, and a year on as past president
Yeah.
is it's not as common elsewhere. And I
What do
agree with
you
you.
guys do?
We tend to have models where, well, our corporate governance code says that, 6 years on a board, maximum
Okay.
6 years on a board, usually in either 3 2-year terms or 2 3-year terms,
Yeah.
and one of those terms will be 3 years as the president. So you have a substantial, God knows I've done jobs that have lasted less than 3 years. So actually, it does give you a lot of time in the role to develop in the role, to deliver in the role, and to
Yeah.
evaluate and
Yeah.
succession plan and sensibly move on to your successor. Whereas this model of, right, I've got a year to have an impact, and if I
Yeah.
don't, I'm a failure. And that's when we see the cult of personality really come to the fore, which is another great horror story
Oh,
that seems to continue to manifest and haunt the sector, which is,
yeah.
I'm in charge now and I'm the president. You do what I say, and everybody else just crumbles in the wake
Yeah.
of systems and processes because of a dominant personality in that
Yeah.
what they perceive it in that one role.
Yeah. I've had more CEOs cry than any previous year. 2025 has been rough for CEOs of all shapes and sizes and terms and tenures. And yeah, that face you're making right now, that's how they live. I mean, with their
Yeah,
head in their
yeah,
hands.
yeah.
And you start to wonder why there has to be an easier job than this. I talk to more and more
Mm.
VPs and senior staff who don't want to be a number one. I don't want to be a CEO. I
I'm
just want to
tough. Yeah.
be, I just want to develop here in my department or my area of expertise, or I don't want to rise up. I see what CEOs go through and I don't want to do it.
Well, and worryingly, there's a lot of people are seeing it as a stepping stone to their corporate career, where they recognize that they can earn more with a lot less hassle. Is how they perceive it. Now, in reality, there's never a lot less hassle. There's always it's just different day.
You're changing one set of
Yeah,
problems
same
for
shit,
another.
different day. It just is what it is. People are
Yeah.
people. But that perception, I think, is still on the increase in our industry. In our
Yeah.
industry, where people perceive, well, actually, I'll go so far here, but I don't want to stick around here because
Yeah.
there's a toxicity that's just kind of just
Yeah.
sitting there, a swamp of toxicity. Um, that is that's not good for us. It's not good for
No,
us.
no. Well, and you started this whole thing off talking about behavior and bad behavior. I know there's a lot of industries that are struggling. And whether it's bankruptcy rates, whether it's having to lay people off, whether it's not having succession to hand over your business, whether it's getting bought out by private equity, our members are stressed out. Our
Yeah,
members are suffering. Our
yeah.
members are going through both professional and personal struggles. And that isn't boding well for their behavior, especially when they are in power, especially when they are in a place of authority. I mean, whether it's drinking too much at the annual Christmas party or
Mm,
whether it's overstepping with, a female junior staffer,
mm.
I the board behavior, and I'm not trying to justify it, but they're going through a lot as well, and I just see it manifesting itself in some bad choices.
Extremely bad choices, criminal choices, in fact. And I think, yeah, you're absolutely right. It doesn't excuse behavior, but it explains behavior. A lot of it, absolutely.
Yeah.
That this piece around, did we not do a pod earlier this year where we spoke about humanity and there needing to be more of a sense of humanity and perspective within our sector? If we didn't, we should make this point now, because actually, one of the things that when I'm stressed, I don't always necessarily need someone to solve the problem for me. I just sometimes just want some empathy. And what I see all the time, and I am a member, as you are a member of, I'm a member of half a dozen different membership bodies. Everything is rosy and fantastic, and they're going to solve my life for me all the time. The communications are so distinctly out of touch with my reality that I think, Well, you clearly don't know me. You clearly don't empathize with me. I actually would have a lot more time, respect, and willingness to engage with my respective membership bodies if I felt that they just got it. If they just understood, hey, guy, I know you're stressed. I know you're pretty much hating
They
things at the
weren't trying to
moment.
sugarcoat everything. They
Yeah.
weren't trying to sugarcoat and wipe away everything. And you,
What I will say is this last 6 to 9 months, and we talk about ASAE a lot on the pod. I have to applaud ASAE because they have not sugarcoated a lot of the stuff that's going on in the States at the moment. They are confronting it. And I think that is giving them a lot of, generating them a lot of goodwill, and it's generating a lot of mileage with the members. I would like to see that translated through to the wider association sector where people are saying, actually, it's bloody awful at the moment, isn't it? And I get it. And I'm not going to solve that problem for you, but we get it because we're going through it as well. And I just think that sense of realism and that sense of humanity is just missing at the moment because all I'm getting is glitzy, glamorous. Hey, do this. It's fun. Put in for an award and we'll celebrate how amazing you are. I'm exhausted and everybody's exhausted. It was,
oh, awards.
you know,
Awards are the biggest trick, right? I mean, you basically pay to apply or you pay to be considered, and then you get an award that you then get to advertise and put on your website or celebrate. And especially in the consultants world, I mean, we get multiple emails a day
There
from,
is there is no awards. Let's be honest. Let's be frank. There's a horror story right now. There is no award that you and I are ever going to win in the association sector because, despite being association professionals first and foremost, we are deemed the devil because we are consultants. I'm just putting a Halloween theme on it, and therefore this podcast will never, ever, ever win an award, even though
yeah,
we've given out hundreds of hours of amazing free and useful content and
yeah.
access to tons of stuff. For me, that's a massive horror story for us,
There's
is
the
that
only
we're
awards we
just
will win, we have to pay for
pay for. And
and
even
are
then we don't.
basically marketing
Yeah,
ploys.
yeah.
Um,
So yeah.
and I start to wonder if I should even bother. I'm looking ahead into 2026 and conferences and submitting speaking, proposals and all those things. I'm wondering
Yeah.
if there's any even point in that kind of stuff anymore. Because consultants, even though the good work ASA is doing and others, we still do continue to be wear the scarlet letter and be the stepchild of the industry. Though they want the free content, everybody wants the free content. Um, yeah,
Mm. I
there's
yeah. Yeah, yeah, I'm on the verge. I'm biting my tongue. I'm biting my tongue
all right.
because
Yeah,
that's a
let's
massive project, podcast that's like
yeah.
a multi-episode complaint of mine. So, but yeah, so yeah, I think we might have even said this last year. The world's exhausted, and it's unrelenting, and it's not changing. We're more
But
exhausted than we've ever been.
wouldn't that logically make associations more necessary? Wouldn't that make the safe harbor they provide, the empathetic community that they could
Which,
be, the resources, maybe not solutions, but the resources and tools and lessons
oh,
learned
I
and
agree
mistakes others have
completely.
already made?
But I
Doesn't that
think,
make them more possible? I mean, when things are bad is when you should find your
yeah,
opportunities to
yeah,
serve and deliver value.
I agree completely. And I think when you get into the community, you experience that empathy and value. But right now, I think there's a big barrier, a big blocker, which is this actually, you don't get me. Therefore, I'm not going to step into this community because clearly it's not about me. It's about all the amazing people who are doing really, really well in this world. And I'm not. Really, at the moment, I feel a lot of the horror that I'm seeing in terms of the struggles for engagement are because it's like looking at
It's like
it's like
going to your high school reunion where everyone
yeah,
there is going to pretend like they're doing
the
great.
beautiful people, the beautiful people. It's like I look at the beautiful people and I go, well, that's not me, is it? Because actually, I've had some really dark months this year and I've struggled to pay my bills some months because it's been such a headache because cash flow has been such a problem. And let's talk about that horror story. If you've not paid Elisa yet, and there are I literally a dozen supply clients who haven't coughed up, pay Elisa, particularly those of you who haven't paid since July.
Stop.
I'm just saying, it's not on. It's not on.
Stop.
right? It's a
Yeah.
horror story, right? You'll miss
Well,
us when we're gone because we haven't been able to keep going because you haven't paid your bills.
yes. And this is the point of other people's struggles all trickle down. Your board members are
Yes,
struggling,
they
your
do.
members are
Mm.
struggling, whatever it may be, and it trickles down to all of those touching that organization or whatever it may be. And I don't want to join to just hear other people flex and show off and probably lie. Um, there's just this middle group of members. They're not leaving per se, but they're not doing anything. They're this paralyzed, apathetic,
Apathetic,
distracted,
yeah.
distracted
Hmm.
group. And you know, I just don't know how to give them their money's worth if they're not going to partake, if they're not going to show up, if they're not going to give. And
And that's the group that I have seen associations for many years not take for granted. They don't take for granted. I don't think anybody takes their members for granted, but I do think that they have been quietly confident that those people are going to they're just going to keep paying their monthly dues, their annual dues. They're not going to, we don't need to worry about them too much. They're always going to be there. But actually, I think that the risk now is that that's the group where we are that is going to start that's going to start leaving. And as you say, that's if that and that represents the majority of your income.
yeah,
That the silent majority is the
yeah.
majority of your membership income. That's a massive horror story waiting to happen in
It's a
2026.
symptom. It's a symptom, and it's going to have the greatest impact likely before you can diagnose and treat the problem. Um, God, so many of these horror stories and nightmares and scary movies that we see in the association space are ongoing, are the same as we've talked about before, aren't getting better. And I know in kind of personal life, whether it's your little league or your PTA or volunteering at the library or whatever it is, I mean, those opportunities and environments are struggling as well. And
Yes, yes.
as
Hmm.
things get worse within the volunteer structure or the governance or whatever, it then it keeps people away even more so. So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I something's got to give. Either there has to be something that is so horrific and terrible that the community, the profession, the industry has to come and unite for, or these organizations have to fall away and no one notices until some new need comes up and someone creates something new in the beginning or
Yeah,
new from
yeah,
the beginning.
yeah. Well, I think this is where, I think to kind of put a positive spin on this, 'cause, on this horror fueled episode. I think in the face of these horror stories of these situations that organizations find themselves in, I think this is where the strength of character in leadership needs to come to the fore,
Yeah.
and this is where bravery, again,
Yeah.
trying to keep with the horror theme. This is where the
Yeah.
brave,
Be the hero. Be the
yeah,
hero.
fortune does
Uh,
favor the bold, and the
yeah.
reality is, um, if you're in a position of authority, use that authority, be brave in that authority,
Yeah.
and make the change happen.
Yeah.
That's I think a lot of times I feel like associations feel like they're victims of circumstance. And it's like, well, no, you can control the circumstances to a degree. Not everything, but you absolutely, if you're sitting on that board, if you're sitting in the C-suite, you have power, you have authority to make change happen. But what you need to be is brave and courageous.
And
And I think,
honest.
and honest. Yeah,
Honest with
absolutely.
yourselves, honest with your staff and your leadership, not to scare them away, but to inspire them that now is the time. And yeah, ooh, I'm getting
Now is the
motivated here.
time. No, yeah, get
I'm getting
motivated. Now is the
motivated.
time. Now is the time. Now is the time because I think you're right. I think by this time next year, when we do Halloween Horror Stories 4, um,
Are you watching
return
any
to,
good scary movies? Are you watching any good scary shows?
am I, am I,
I'm waiting
No,
for Stranger
no.
Things to come back, but I don't
I
think
don't
that
watch Stranger
happens till
Things.
next year.
I don't watch
What?
Stranger Things. No, I tried it. I watched one episode and I couldn't get it. I couldn't do it, so I didn't watch. I didn't bother watching the rest of it.
No,
I did
I'm,
watch something recently, but I can't think what it was. I ended up
I'm,
watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with my little one earlier this week, and that was a bit of a horror story, I have to say.
oh my
Um,
God. I'm waiting for The Last of Us to come back. I think again that's next year. I think there's going to be a last or 13th season of American Horror Story.
that's
Uh,
what I'm waiting for because I caught up on all of that this year, actually, American Horror
yeah.
Story. And wasn't there like just a shorter series, but they were like one-off stories
Oh,
as
okay.
well. I think they were
So
just
an
called horror
anthology per
stories.
season or per
Yeah,
show. Okay.
per show.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like, but it was like 6 or 7 in a series or something. But I've caught up on
Okay.
all of it, so yeah, yeah.
All right. I'm reading. I'm watching the monster Ed Gein story. That's hard. That's rough.
Oh, that's what I started watching, and I stopped because I
Yeah.
is that the lad who was in Sons of Anarchy?
Sons of Anarchy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, Sons of
Mother.
Anarchy. Sons of
Mother.
Anarchy.
Yes, mother.
He's
Yeah.
horrible. I didn't like
I
that one. I
can't.
didn't like that
I
one.
just I don't think I can. It's hard.
No.
But so lots of good scary things in fiction, lots of good scary things in associations. Can we spend the Thanksgiving episode? I know you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, but can we do a thankful episode before the end of the year? And then can we do a drinking Christmas episode?
Well, I'm off to Disneyland Paris for Halloween with Poppy, so I'll be celebrating the witching hour on outside Cinderella's castle.
Oh,
So I'll be
wow.
thankful for that. So yeah, we can do
Look at
that.
you all with all the pretty people.
We
Have
can
fun.
all the beautiful people,
All the beautiful.
obviously, all the beautiful people, all the mannequins all the Stepford wives. They're all just kind of like all being really beautiful and
The
staged.
Disney World. Yes,
Yeah,
Disney,
Disney.
the Disney Vale.
Yes. So yeah, I'll be doing that. So I'll be looking forward to
Enjoy.
I'll be
Bring me
thankful for
something nice.
that.
Bring me something nice.
I'll bring you a pair of villainous Disney ears for you
Oh,
to
yeah.
wear.
I need the Maleficent, like the
Yes,
Maleficent
yes, yeah,
headband.
yeah.
Yes. Yes. I
Okay.
was going to wear my Slytherin cloak today, but I didn't have time.
What's that? Oh, that's Harry Potter. I don't
That's
do
Harry
Harry
Potter.
Potter. I don't do Harry Potter. Yeah. Well, I just don't. I've never read it, and Poppy's too little to read it. Actually, she's not. She's just not
She's
interested.
not.
I keep saying to her, "Do you want to read it?"
You're
She's
biasing her against it.
I'm not. I'm not. I keep saying, "Do you want to read Harry Potter?" And she just says, "No, I don't want to, Dad." And I'm like, "Okay, fine. I'm not going to make you read it. I'm not going to force her to read
Well,
Harry
let her watch
Potter."
one of the movies and then see if she likes it.
But I'm not stopping her. I offer it to her, and she just says, "No, I'm not interested."
What a coincidence.
It's not. I don't say anything about it. I
All right,
don't.
fine.
All right.
I'll
Okay.
send her, I'll write her a note and give her an out if she wants to become a scary show. It's not even scary. It's not even scary.
You brought it up, Lise. You brought it up, right? I'm not
I know.
Harry
I'm
Potter in it
arguing
with
with
you, right?
myself
You're
now. I'm
arguing with
arguing with
you.
myself now. All right. Have a great time at Disney Paris. Thank you for sharing some of the more difficult things we've learned this year. I don't want it to get us down. Let's stay strong. Let's find the light and keep serving our clients and
Be
this
brave.
industry.
Be
So thank you.
brave.
Be brave. We've got to be brave too. And until next time, put your members and your mission first.